What do you think about attraction to certain genders versus genital preference? I think that attraction is complicated, and I think that all sorts of people can have attractions to all sorts of things. But the labeling of every single type of specific fucking thing is ultra fucking cringe. It is ultra cringe, and it makes you look like a close-minded fucking loser, okay? I like to fuck women, and I like to mess with men. And there's like a wide variety of people in both those categories that I would fuck or play with, but I would never in my life be like, I have an attraction to like femme-presenting, non-binary, genderqueer men. Like, why the fuck would you ever have so many fucking qualifiers before anybody you're gonna hook up with, right? Like, call yourself bisexual or pansexual and be done with it. Like, holy shit. The idea that you have to have like 50 million qualifiers, like you're making a program, like you're putting together the most complicated database in the history of mankind with 50 million tags for every single type of person. Destiny, you're making fun of this person, but you yourself would actually be a non-binary man as you describe your experience on stream. Well, you said you feel really comfortable as a man around female partners, but you don't feel the same around male partners. First of all, I've never said that I don't feel like a man around male partners. I've never said that ever. My original take has always been that, like, I'm not particularly attached to my gender or sex. I don't really give a that much. If I woke up as a woman, I wouldn't care. I just don't care that. It's just, when I think of me, that's just not one of the first things that comes to my mind. Like, oh yeah, male. It's not something I care about that much. That being said, I don't mind being a guy. I don't mind my male privilege. I don't mind being a guy. It's cool. But like, the thing is what happened, and I've said this a million times, okay? Like in the late 90s, early 2000s, what happened was we were expanding all of these categories to be more inclusive. That like men and male and masculine can include way more things, or female or femi or woman can also include way more things, even like trans people, which is cool. That's fine. But now it feels like we want to close it off again. No, we can't have these really wide categories. Now we have everything is incredibly narrowly defined. There's like 50 million different kinds of fucking categories. And I'm sorry if this makes me sound like an asshole, and sorry if this comes off as transphobic, but it legitimately feels like there are a lot of cisgender, heterosexual men and women that are like trying to desperately grab at tags because being cishet is like lame. That's honestly what it feels like. When you get somebody that's like, oh, like I'm like a non-binary genderqueer person, but I still use he, him pronouns and I present as men and I generally only like to fuck women. You're fucking heterosexual, okay? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, just stop. You don't have to have 50 fucking tags to be special. Like, holy shit. I don't know. Like, it's so weird because I barely consider myself bisexual. Because I've only like messed with like 5 guys. But like these guys will full on, like the Voshas of the world, like, oh, I'm a pansexual, blah, 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 blah. But I've like never been with a guy before. Like, what the fuck are you? What are you even talking about? I only date women. Okay, you're just fucking heterosexual, dude. You don't need like 50 tags, all right? Call yourself a social. There's a ton of political tags that you can go and grab, right? Like you can be the anarcho-syndactylactical, whatever the fuck you want. Go do that shit, you know? Yeah, I don't know. But Jesus Christ, okay? Did you see the respectable lawyer dude say that blowing up a pipeline isn't terrorism? The respectable lawyer guy, I'll say it. I don't know if I said it before. I don't think he's a real lawyer. I don't think so. I think he's a fake lawyer. This guy tweets way too much. He's online way too much. But I will also say this. And I will say this with a lot of confidence, okay? I hope there are lawyers in chat that get mad at me. A lot of lawyers talk a lot of shit and don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't know what it is, but it's like one of the few professions that requires a lot of, like, I shouldn't say specialized education. You get like a law degree. You don't specialize in law, I guess, unless you go further. But for some reason, like a lot of lawyers talk a lot of shit about stuff that they have no fucking idea what the fuck they're talking about. I don't know why lawyers do that. It actually blows my fucking mind. Because it seems like in general, because the other like respected profession I created was like doctors. Usually when I talk to people that like go to med school, generally like the people that have graduated and are especially practicing are usually really fucking careful when I talk to them. Like I can talk to a dude that is like a practicing fucking ER doc or whatever and like ask him some shit and he'll be like, you know, I think this, I remember this med school, but I don't 100%, like they're usually like really careful. But like you ask a lawyer any fucking question about anything and they're like, oh yeah, let me tell, oh 100% this and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, have you like, do you practice law in that area? I have no idea. Like, oh, do you know like any of like the precedents or like do you know any of the cases or like could you cite me a single case that has to like support? I don't fucking know anything. Why the fuck are you? Why the fuck are you even pretending to know anything about what the fuck you're talking about? I don't know why it is the case, but I will say, okay, I'm not shitting on Pisco by the way. I love Pisco. if somebody says they're a lawyer online, number one, half the time they're lying. And number two, even if they're telling the truth, there is zero guarantee that just because they're a lawyer, they have any fucking idea that they know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't know why, okay? But that's just been some of my experience. But also, I'm a video game streamer, loser dipshit who flunked college and music. So, you know, fuck me. You don't have to believe anything I say, okay? Okay. Have you seen ContraPoint's new tweet? Seems like she identifies a lot on the same issue you're seeing in the discourse. Oh. Oh, God. So, look, last night, it's true. I admit it. I confessed it all. I started discourse. I was trying to, but that's really... The discourse is about Gen Z queer people online saying things like, I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck, and casual reminder that heterosexuality doesn't make your gayness any less valid, and my claim that these statements are hard to figure out. Note, I'm not saying they aren't valid. Oh, God. They don't have to be valid. Just because your feelings are valid doesn't mean that everything you think is logically consistent or logically valid, okay? These are two totally different things, all right? If you're a horny asexual who loves to fuck, by all means continue with my maternal blessing. But surely you see that, to most people, the statement, I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck is, at face value, confusing, contradictory, and, in so many words, hard to figure out. True! One thing I see a lot of people saying is that asexuality means lack of sexual attraction rather than no libido, meaning that asexual people might still desire sex even absent any specific object-oriented attraction. Okay. For another example, sometimes straight people have gay sex just to get off. It's a thing, so it makes sense that some people... Dude, even Contra, I'm sorry. Listen, homie. If you're having a guy suck you off because you're horny, it's a little bit gay, okay? I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, all right? If you're a guy and you fuck your bro just because you're really horny, you might be a little bit gay. Just a little bit. Now, there's no problem with that. You might be a little gay. It's okay to be a little gay, okay? We call them bisexuality, okay? We call them pansexuals, all right? It's okay to do that. What is the difference between pan and bi? I have no idea. I just say pansexual instead of bisexual because it sounds better. I don't fucking know, okay? I'm bisexual because I'll fuck most people. Pansexual people are like, I'm attracted to you regardless of any gender you have. Like, I don't know what the fuck that means. So you're not attracted to any feminine or masculine female? I don't know what the fuck. I don't care, okay? I don't care how you rationalize how you like to feel special because you like to stick things in your vagina or have things around your penis, okay? Whatever special words you need to use to feel cool because it feels like people, listen, here is the real void pill on it, okay? Here's the real void pill. People are empty today. We don't have a lot of purpose in life. We have a lot of free time. We're not spending all day on the fucking farm, okay, doing hay bales. We don't have a lot of shit that gives us meaning or purpose. So we go to places where we can try to find it. And sometimes cool little like words that make you feel unique or special, or like I'm a sapiosexual, or I'm like an asexual that has sexual attraction, or I'm a heteroromantic pansexual, genderqueer, non-binary that still uses she, her pronouns, and I still identify as a woman, but I'm not cis. Like, I think that it's just like, if you don't have anything in your life that makes you feel really special, these are kind of like the things that we reach for. And you know what? That's what you want to do. Fuck it, I guess. Just don't call me fucking transphobic when I, what do the Brits say? Take the piss out of you a little bit, okay? Jesus. Oh. Like, it feels like unironically, like we're going to get to a point. I don't know if it'll happen. But it might actually happen. I feel like we're going to get to the point to where like saying that like you're straight is going to be like the new like edgy statement. It's like the it's okay to be white thing. Or I guess that's like the super straight thing, right? That was I don't know, dude. The world is crazy. The world is crazy. It's a crazy world out there, okay? Be careful. I can't believe this clip still gets mileage.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Now, to be clear, it sounds like he is heteroromantic. but bisexual slash pansexual. Categories that explain what you want materially are understandable. Categories that explain your feelings are a little bit more perilous. I say this absolutely knowing that trans folks have this. Okay, but this is my problem. When you're inventing a new category like every fucking 2 seconds, I don't know what the fuck any of those mean. Not to mention the fact that, sorry, most people probably just use these as fucking memes, okay? I have met girls on Tinder that say they are sapiosexual who will fuck on the first date, okay? How sapiosexual are you? Now, maybe just, and I've seen a lot of girls on Tinder say a lot of crazy shit that like here's the thing. I don't know if you noticed it before. Every girl that has like socialist or communist in her profile on Tinder doesn't even, like, if you argue with her for like 2 seconds, you're like, oh, I don't know. I supported Bernie Sanders. Like, I'll be like, oh shit, like, are you against like markets? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just thought like Medicare for all was cool. It's like, oh, I thought you were going to show up in like a Che Guevara shirt or some shit, right? Yeah, I don't know. Like, so most of these people use like, all of these terms are used incredibly nebulously, or they'll have like the most esoteric words to describe their fucking, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck any of this shit. I start talking to somebody, and then I'll sex with somebody, and then I'll find out what they like, because having 27 different words to describe your sexual attraction is way too much fucking work, all right? Fuck that shit. Debate me on Tinder? Hey, if you're gonna put some political shit in your profile, you better believe I'm gonna fucking debate you, okay? Why would you put some political shit in your profile if you don't want to fight, okay? Like, oh my God, you're such a brave girl putting MAGA supporters swipe fucking left on your LA Tinder profile. Oh, queen, yes, queen. Oh, you're so fucking brave. Oh my God, you're so fucking brave. Like, get the fuck out of here, okay? Cringe. Thoughts on STL trying to rework sexuality? I think that, for the most part, I think like the feminine, masculine dichotomy works okay, but just don't get too attached to your fucking like shit. And who the fuck cares? Who cares that much, right? Like, masculine and feminine can have like a lot of cool things that you can do with in society, right? You maybe like a certain style of clothing, or maybe a certain attitude, or some shit like that. Sure, I can see the power of those. But like sexual orientation, who the fuck cares? Right? I generally like cis women. But you know what? I've seen a lot of really fucking hot trans women that I would probably fuck. Hell yeah. Also, I've seen some femboys that are like, yeah, sure, fuck it. Why the fuck not, you know? And I've been with guys and I'm like, yeah, sure, you got a nice dick. Yeah, why the fuck not, right? Like, who the fuck cares? I don't feel the need to define my sexuality with like 37 different fucking terms. Like, I know what I like. And yeah, you figure it out. Who cares? I don't know why. I don't know what the obsession is. It's like trying to say like, oh, like, what kind of music are you? Like, oh, I don't know. I like a lot of like prog and post-rock. Prog and post-rock? Are you talking about like psychedelic infusion, like transcendental, like EDM rock? Or do you mean like, are you talking about like the sub-heterogeneous genre of like electronic-based trans disco? Like, I don't know what the fuck, I have no fucking idea. Like, are there really more than one group with this fucking label? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I don't, okay, I'm booming. I'm getting too old for the internet. That's what's happening. I'm getting too old. It's passing me by. You guys are gonna have to find a new political streamer, okay? It's leaving me in the dust, okay? I'm getting left behind. I can't keep up with the kids these days, all right? Do you think there's some value in having words that quickly describe what you're attracted to and what you find sexually pleasing in a way to streamline that process in a more sexual society? No, because like, how should I say this without telling you to rape yourself? I think you should be open to like a wide variety of experiences, and I think most people are. Also, if you're the kind of person that is using like 50 million fucking tags, you probably are already the kind of person that's into like a wide variety of things. Like if you're the kind of person that calls yourself like a pan, queer, whatever the fuck, blah, 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 you're probably down for most shit. In which case, like, I don't think you have to use all these insane levels of tags, right? The funny thing is that the people that need the tags the most are probably the ones that just use like heterosexual or like gay, right? I love the depression tags on Tinder. I haven't been on Tinder in a while. Is there a depression tag? Jesus. Like, what are the chances that you meet somebody who's like, I'm a genderqueer, non-binary, pansexual, like BDSM person or whatever, and you meet them and you're like, oh, like I'm like a female with a vagina, or like I'm a male with a vagina. And they're like, oh no, I'm not into that thing. Like, does that really happen? Because it seems like the people that use all the tags are into like a lot of different things anyways. So like, who the fuck cares? Just like meet people, fuck them, enjoy it. Who the fuck cares? Like, have fun. And if you don't like it, then don't do that again. Find somebody else. How do you usually start combos on Tinder? I say, hey, what's up? And you know what? If they don't respond, fuck them, all right? Because I'm not there to beg and grovel for a fucking Tinder pussy from some girl that is going to give me one message fucking responses while she's like juggling me between 30 other guys that she has talking to, okay, to boost her self-esteem. I ain't got time for that bullshit, all right? But I'm also a big streamer and I talk to a lot of people, so it's probably not like the same situation. If you want to fuck people, okay, there's two ways to do it. One is real life friends, so either classmates or coworkers, or friends of friends, or two is cast a wide net. So find a pickup line or a fucking joke and message like 50. If I do fuck somebody off of Tinder, it's because I've messaged like 50 people with the same fucking opener, and then like 3 or 4 will respond, and then you kind of weed them out, and then you go down that road. Like, that's all you can do, right? But if you like if you're trying to like find the one on Tinder and you get like super attached to like one match, you're fucked. That shit is never gonna work. All right. How do you do first dates? A first date for me will always be either like coffee, and by coffee I mean hot chocolate, or like a meal is fine. I would never do a movie first date. I'm not gonna get to know a person on a movie. Fuck that. And movies are for cuddling. Okay, I'm not gonna cuddle with a weird fucking stranger. You might be fucking crazy. All right. I don't need Anna 2.0 in my life. It feels like if you want to be successful, you have to be a sexual predator. Okay, people spread this rumor so fucking much, okay? I have fucked so many girls just because they said they felt comfortable around me. I am not joking, all right? The idea that you have to be pushy and you've got to be like manipulative and you've got to go over and over and over again, as soon as you give off those vibes, you will get the number one, like, I have to get the fuck out of here, this guy's going to fucking rape me energy, okay? You do not want this guy is going to rape me energy because you're doing something you learned from some dipshit like John Zerka on fucking Twitch, okay? Like, just chat with somebody, be respectful, be chill, don't be a pushy fucking loser, okay? Also, if you take my advice on this, you will be so far ahead of every guy because every guy is a pushy fucking loser. I don't know why, okay? I've hooked up with like 5 guys in my life, and every single guy tried to push me into doing fucking ass shit after I explicitly said no. Not just one time, but throughout the entire fucking interaction, right? Like, unironically, like, hey, I don't want to do any fucking, I'm not going to get fucking naked. I'm not doing any shit. And they're like, oh, okay. And like 2 minutes later, it's like, oh, take your pants off. Bro, I don't have fucking Alzheimer's, okay? I know you don't have Alzheimer's. Why are you acting like you just fucking forgot what I just told you? That shit every fucking time. Guys always do that shit. If you don't do that, okay? If you don't do that, you're already ahead of like 95% of other fucking dudes. Unironically, okay? You're already ahead of like 95% of other dudes by just not being a pushy, creepy fucking asshole, all right? It's like, it's memes, but like, I don't think, I'll bring girls over to my house. I don't give a fuck. I'll bring any girl over to my apartment. I don't care. I will never, ever, ever bring a guy back to my place. Ever. Not a single time. Because guys are fucking crazy and scary, all right? If there's a crazy girl, fuck it. You know, maybe she screams at me or tries to stab me in public. I don't know. But if there's a crazy guy that knows where you live, that's a whole other level of insanity. Also, I will say this, okay? Girls on Tinder, you are way too fucking trusting. Girls on Tinder are crazy. They will let you drive them around on the first fucking date. They will let you go back to their place on the first fucking date, okay? Y'all need to be careful with that shit. Holy fuck. It blows my mind. I'll be like, I'll message a girl or whatever. Like, sometimes they'll be polite. It's like, hey, do you need a ride? Like, oh yeah, come pick me up at this address. Why the fuck would you give me, why would you give me your address? Okay? I might have to kill you out of principle. In a video game, okay? But like, Jesus Christ, be careful. It was one of the things that like, I tweeted this a while ago and I got in a lot of trouble for it. I guess, whatever, I don't give a fuck because half the fucking people on the internet that talk about sex are virgins anyway, right? I tweeted a while ago that like, if you're inviting a guy to your house, like, yeah, you better be comfortable with the idea of sex because you're already doing something that's way more vulnerable than sex, which is inviting somebody to where you fucking live. It's like already like that's a way, way, way bigger step. And so many people disagreed with me. And I'm like, you motherfuckers are crazy. You just like, you'll meet random guys online and bring them back to your apartment? And you're not even willing to fuck them? What the fuck? Yeah, fuck it. Crazy shit. Why is asexual even considered LGBTQ+? Were people who didn't want to fuck anyone even discriminated against? Again, I'm asking genuinely. That's like a whole thing. I don't know. I agree with you, but that's a bag of worms. I think that like LGBT is special because if you are a lesbian or you are gay or if you are bisexual sometimes or if you're transsexual or a trans person, your life can be fucked and there's like not much you can do about it. Like if you're gay and you want to date somebody that's the same gender or sex as you, you have to deal with a lot in your life that will be hard. Same thing as transgender, same thing as lesbian. Sometimes bisexual, although bisexual you can hide though. I think there are other types of sexualities that can be legitimate, but they don't deal with the same social stigma. So like, for instance, like I'm bisexual or pansexual or whatever. I don't care, but if I did care, it's not like I would have to be stigmatized by my family for it because I date girls. I can bring a girl home and be like, oh, look, I'm straight, haha, like I'm straight passing or whatever. I don't really have to like live my life in fear or shame like a gay person might or like a trans person might. So I think it's a little bit weird when people are like, oh, like we need to include like sapiosexual, demisexual, asexual. Now, not to say that if you don't have one of these types of asexuality, like your life can be strange in other ways, but like, I don't think it's the same type of thing, you know, like, hey, I'm going to be in a relationship with you, but like, I don't want to have very much sex. Like, okay, sure. But like, is this like a huge constant thing in life that you're going to have to deal with? Because I don't know. There's also like this weird, there's also this weird idea that like men are the ones that always push for sex and don't have like enough sex. I don't even know. We'd have to look at polling data on that sometime because I don't even know if that is the case, because it feels like in long-term relationships, women are the ones that end up feeling unsexually satisfied, where they want to have more sex than the guys do even. So, I mean, I'm sure if you're asexual, you can probably find some other partner that's like, oh yeah, I don't care about fucking that much, or I just want to jerk off all the time, you know? I don't know. I've heard you talk about love and fucking relationships, but never about trust. You're pretty intelligent, and in my life, who I can or can't trust with certain information is extremely important to me. I was wondering, how do you judge who you can trust? I'm an autism gender, sociopath gender. I only trust people I have leverage over. I don't trust anybody by default. Actually, you know what? That's not true. Melina is very, very, very trustworthy. I don't think Melina would ever lie to me about anything, ever. And she might be like one of the only people I've met that's like that. But besides that, like I don't. In my view, like basically anybody will throw you under the bus given like the opportunity to do so. So yeah, fuck it.